This is Ron Brown again. This is video number 2. I'm doing it on the same day as I did the pre-market analysis. What has happened, or what is happening, is I am using thinkorswim as my trading platform, and it also drives the data in HGSI for intraday. So I'm going to click on this main menu, the intraday icon. I have the options, the data provider. If you have access to thinkorswim, if you're in the United States or where thinkorswim is available, just download it, open an account. You don't have to even fund the account, but you can use thinkorswim. Now I generally use updating every 5 minutes, but if that's too much for you, just select manual intraday updates. I'll leave it on, well, I'm going to switch to manual for this so it doesn't slow my video down. So I'm in the same folder, Major Markets Plus, that I was before, and now I'm going to drop down to view number 2. I'll bring up my quick pick though, and you can see that it's top-down analysis, Major Markets Plus intraday. So I updated a couple of minutes ago, and you can see what is happening today. The market opened strongly, but then it reversed, and consequently the VIX is up the most for the day. Now notice I'm using a combo rank percentage price change 1 day, but it's the intraday version. So I can stay on top of the market. So where's the money flowing today? Well, there's money flowing into the VIX, or options surrounding the VIX, I should say, the utilities, treasury bonds, transportation, and so on. Now down at the bottom you can see that biotech is weak, and it was weak on the end of day chart also. Now look at this, oil is down, gasoline are down, and if I go back to the prior view, you can see that at the end of the day yesterday, gasoline and oil were at the midpoint, and they were up slightly. So I'll use a quick pick here. So if I flip to what is happening intraday, I can see that both of these have fallen off today. Next, I'm going to drop down to the next group. It's major market ETFs, and I'm going to go to my ETF module, click on folder number 1. I'm going to click on scorecard ETFs intraday. Now these are all ETFs. I'm not mixing or including any market indexes with these. So this gives me a read as to what's happening. There's no VIX in here, but you can see that the utilities money is looking for safety. It's going to utilities, treasury bonds, consumer staples. Home construction has been strong again. Let's just take a look at utilities. I'll get rid of the quick pick here. Once again, I am using a daily VPA chart and a weekly line chart. My reason for doing that is to be able to look at the weekly chart and clearly see the trend in the higher highs and higher lows. Whereas with the daily chart, I can see where the VPA flags have been appearing. I'm going to make this larger. I'll zoom in on this, just use my alternate 1 key, and you can see there was an excellent VPA flag at this point. I'm going to, rather than changing this chart and putting the VPA information up here, I merely go up to the top here, go to my daily VPA charts. I click on number 1, and I can get the information about the VPA and the markets and so on. I make sure that I click on the last candle, and this gives me the up-to-date information, not only end of day but intraday. So this candle represents the intraday, and you can see that the volume is heavy today, or it's projected to be heavy. Green is the current volume. The magenta portion of the line indicates what the projected volume is. Now I am in my end of day charts, and what I want to do, I didn't want to do that. I'll use the quick pick, it's easier and you can see what I'm doing. I want to go down to my intraday charts. So I'm going to go to my daily VPA chart, click on this, and the reason I have both end of day and intraday is that the intraday charts have some information in here in this warehouse area. These are warehouse fields which are projected onto the chart. So I can click over here and then come back over here, and I can see that my intraday volume compared to the 90-day volume is running 34.8% above what it normally is. So that represents this projected volume here. The current candle is at 81.01% of its daily range, and the one-day change is 1.28%. So this is the reason I have both end-of-day and intraday charts. The current volume as of the last 8-day update is about 6 million shares. The estimated volume is about 22 million. And the float turnover, that means that the float of this ETF is turning over every 10 days. Now that's a totally different subject that I'm not going to touch on right now. But let me go back to this. And I'm going to click on this low right here so I can go back to this date, September 9th. High volume up bar closing on the high indicates strength. What a great call here. This is followed by an effort to rise. Nice move up, but then there's some short-term profit taking. As this pulls back, volume is heavy, but the next day there is a low volume test, and you can see that the volume is low, and then there is a confirmation of that test on the following day, and you can see that it picks up again, and then the XLU takes off again. Now I can go to any location on this chart, click on a candle, and it gives me the VPA flags, if there is a VPA flag that is being generated. And on this date right here, test for supply, strength seen returning after a downtrend, stopping volume, that was the low of this pullback. And then here was a confirmation, and that bar closing near the high confirms the return of strength. So obviously that would have been the place to get in. Now it's easier, of course, said than done when you're looking at these live, but so many of these VPA flags are true, or they work out to be true. Now, right here, there was some hesitation. You can see 2 negative VPA flags, but those were overturned by this effort to rise, which is a long white candle on heavy volume. Here was a reversal day, but it didn't follow through. There was an inside day the next day, and it continued to go up. And then as it gets extended, you can expect some pullback. But what you're looking for is the trend, and that's where this weekly chart comes in handy, which can keep us on the correct side of a trade. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to locate, if I can find it, my main menu. This is why I have it update automatically, but I just didn't want the video slowed down, so I'm going to update manually. And let's see how much this has changed, if it's changed at all. So the time before was 11:19 Eastern Time. When this finishes, we'll see what the time says and what the candle looks like. It takes about a minute to download this on my computer. I'm just going to let it run. So as you can see, with this layout, you can get an awful lot of information. Okay, now it is just about finished updating, and it looks like not a lot has changed. Okay, here's the latest time, 11:36 a.m. Eastern Time. Utilities are still on top. Bonds are second. Consumer staples are third. Solar is having a bad day today. The whole group, which has been extremely strong, there's profit taking going on. I'll just bring this up. And you can see on the daily chart that it is getting hit. Profit taking is setting in. The market has reversed, no question about it. So the stocks that were most profitable are tipping. It's tempting to take those off, and that's exactly what is happening today. You can see how strong this solar ETF has been. It has been extremely strong, and if I change this to a monthly line chart, you can see where it was at one time, and then it fell all the way down here, but it has come back been very strong. Here's the first higher low here. Here's a higher high, higher low, higher high. This is a higher low than back here, and then it broke through there. It's just been extremely strong, but today it has fallen out of favor. This market is not doing well at all today. In fact, let me just go back up here to Major Markets Plus. I'm going to go get out of my ETF view, go to Major Markets Plus, Intraday, and let's take a look at the NASDAQ over here on the right. I'm going to go to a different chart. Going to go down to my fractal layout charts. I'll explain fractal in the future. Now let's just do it like this. You can see what has happened with the NASDAQ composite today. It tried to go up and then it sold off. I better zoom in on this. You can zoom around quickly by holding the alternate key, clicking on one, but look at the gap up here, and then I believe the consumer confidence number came out, and everybody who jumped in early, many of those positions are now losing positions. And what I say in the first video that I did, I said we're in a market really that is going nowhere. We're trapped in here. There is no directional bias on the composite anywhere. So you look down at other levels and you'll find strength in utilities, if you've seen. The consumer stocks have been decent and so on, but it's just a very, very difficult market right now to make any money. Personally, I have a few positions on, but not much. It's just, it's too dangerous. Every time I stick my neck out, it seems like when I have profits, they disappear in a hurry. And right now, I'm going to concentrate on making some videos rather than putting on too many trades. I do have some on, but I'm far from being fully invested. Okay, let's go to a different level. I'm just kind of winging this. I'm going to go to the Spider Sectors ETFs, and I'm going to go back down to Scorecard ETFs Intraday, and you can see where the strength is today. Utilities, consumer staples, that's what I was talking about. There is a little strength in healthcare, which is surprising because there hasn't been. Now I'm going to click on the ranking module, and this is compared to the SPX 1 week. Anything over 100 means the sector is or the ETF is outperforming. So utilities are outperforming the SPX by 1.44%. Consumer staples by 1.14%, and the tech 0.35. If you want to know the actual percentages of performance for the week, I'm going to put percent change, number of weeks 1 week, and you can see that the utility sector is up 1.31% for the week. The weakness is 1.20 and that's in energy. I'm bringing the energy sector chart up, and I have changed this to a weekly chart. What this number represents is from last Friday's close, and I'm doing this on a Tuesday morning. And if you look right here, minus 121, that represents last Friday's close to where it currently is. Now, as the week builds, this number will change. Just remember that if you're using a raw relative strength percent change 1 week, it is from the prior Friday's close, and it's going to change throughout the week, and then the cycle begins again on the following Monday. You also have the option of looking at this information in the warehouse view. And if I scroll over to the right, you can see the percentage price change 1 day and 5 days, and there's another field in HGSI from the beginning of the week if you want to be real precise, but I don't really think that's necessary. You just want to get a feel for what's happened over the past several days, and you want to know what's happening intraday. And with Thinkorswim as the data source for this information, you have a handle on what is going on in the market, and it's up-to-date information. Now, I'm really just touching the surface of what you can do with this combination of HGSI and Thinkorswim. If you are interested in the utilities, we have to get out of the ETFs, but if I go down to, or I should say go up to the HGSI sector indexes and move down to number 3 folder, which is top-down process views for HGSI, I can get a feel for what is going on. This is the end of day. I'm bringing the energy sector chart up, and I have changed this to a weekly chart. What this number represents is from last Friday's close, and I'm doing this on a Tuesday morning. And if you look right here, minus 121, that represents last Friday's close to where it currently is. Now, as the week builds, this number will change. Just remember that if you're using a raw relative strength percent change 1 week, it is from the prior Friday's close, and it's going to change throughout the week, and then the cycle begins again on the following Monday. You also have the option of looking at this information in the warehouse view. And if I scroll over to the right, you can see the percentage price change 1 day and 5 days, and there's another field in HGSI from the beginning of the week if you want to be real precise, but I don't really think that's necessary. You just want to get a feel for what's happened over the past several days, and you want to know what's happening intraday. And with Thinkorswim as the data source for this information, you have a handle on what is going on in the market, and it's up-to-date information. Now, I'm really just touching the surface of what you can do with this combination of HGSI and Thinkorswim. If you are interested in the utilities, we have to get out of the ETFs, but if I go down to, or I should say go up to the HGSI sector indexes and move down to number 3 folder, which is top-down process views for HGSI, I can get a feel for what is going on. This is the end of day. It's end of day and intraday, and I'm going to show you how to do that. This view number 3 shows advancing issues versus declining issues. Now I want to go in and I want to update this information. but these can be updated intraday. I'm going to jump down to folder number 7, and I'll just go ahead and close this. I'll go into my designer under tools. I'm going to select number 7, rebuild indexes in group, and what it's going to do is using the quotes, the intraday quotes, it is rebuilding the groups. Now I had to leave for 20 minutes and I came back and I see the bottom has fallen out of the market, and let's just see what's going on. I had this updating in the background. I'll bring this view back up, get rid of the designer, and now I'm going to go to my number 3 indexes that are up today. You can see that there are only 40 out of the 176 that are up today, and if I click on indexes down today, 136. So the market seems to be in trouble right now. I'm going to quickly go back to my Major Markets Plus folder, and let's go back up here to folder number 1, top-down analysis, Major Markets Plus, intraday. You can see the VIX is up 0.61% today. Let's just bring the VIX up here quickly in the charts. And you can see that it's moving up. And the utility index is still strong. Bonds are strong. Gold miners and gold are strong. What's at the bottom? Biotech, oil, Russell 2000. I'm going to quickly look at the NASDAQ composite. And I'll make this full screen. I'll click on F5 to update this chart, and you can see that it is falling. Here is the opening price. It moved up, and now it's trading at the low of the day. Actually, I'm on the weekly chart. Sorry about that. Let's go to the daily. I didn't think it looked right. Okay, let's do this again. Here's where it opened. It ticked up, and look at the heavy black candle which is forming. I can see the candle, but there's no, on the major indexes, the NYSE and NASDAQ, we do not get the volume. It is not updated during the day, but the comp in Thinkorswim does not have volume either. Okay, it's updating in the background, but something happened. I don't know what happened while I was gone, but clearly there is weakness in this market. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing, and then I'm going to wind down this video before it gets too long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my alternate key, hit the space bar, and that takes me directly to all securities. I want the quick pick. I'm going to move down to one of my views. I'm just going to type in leaders. Intraday up on volume, and you can see that these stocks are stocks that where I have something called the fan based upon moving averages. The stocks that are up on volume, and then conversely intraday down on volume. You can see that there are 66 down. These are all stocks with a positive fan is what I'm trying to say. So if I bring up, well, let's bring up a stock that Shopify, for example. Even though it is going down, it has an up fan, or a fan up in place, I'm sorry. So it tells me that this was a leader that is now falling off. How do I know the fan is still in place? Well, I'm going to go up here to my daily charts. under folder number 1. And it is not going to be in place much longer, but here's the 200, here's the 100, here's the 50, and here's the 18. This was as of last night. The fan was still in place because the 18 had not gone down through the 50, but you can see today that it has. Right here, you can see that it crossed over today. But this was one of those momentum stocks which was doing extremely well, got up in the $400 range, and look at it today. The last price is, if you look closely over here, it's $290.06. So $100 plus has come out of this stock. And it is in my leaders going down intraday on volume. Now, let me go back up to the other one. Floor and Decor Holdings. This one is up. And you can clearly see that the fan is in place and this stock is moving up. So even when the market is weak, you're going to find stocks that are going up. And this is one way to do it. Use my views. Locate these stocks and you get a good handle on what's going on in the market. What are the groups that are up? An easy way to find out is to bring up the spectrum analyzer. Home builders, there's 4 in here. There's 3 utilities, 3 large pharmas, 2 medical equipment, 2 consumer finance. And as I click on these, it tells me what these home builders are. Okay, I'm going to end it here. I could go on for hours, but I'm going to try to keep these segments relatively short and just show you the power of HGSI and Thinkorswim, the combination of the two, and how you can get more insight with these two combined programs than you can really get anywhere else.